Hey everyone, it's your boy PeeWee back with another video. So today is going to be the first official, I guess, video of the new dynamic of this channel. So, um, the other day I posted a video about how I wanted to basically create my own community. Well, not really my community, but a community for just anyone who just really loves to read like manhwa, and manga. Like just a place where we can all just basically like just share our opinions with one another, have like conversations and basically express how do you say it? Just like our excitement, share it with one another, when we read that one chapter that really gets us in like a really good mood, or we find a comic that just seems to be like hidden or just not well known, we can share it with each other and basically just this community that loves comics as much as me. I want to foster and make it to where like basically like if you read something or you're having a bad day or just you can go there and just share in like the love just people have for comics and like that I have for comics. So anyways, I did say I wanted to keep these videos around like 5-ish minutes long, so I don't want to just rattle on too much. But we're gonna kick this to start off to this new um, dynamic with one of my favorite manhwas of all time, Demonic Emperor. Like, come on. Um, if you read a lot of Chinese comics, you know that cultivation stuff is not hard to find. Um, but this, in my opinion, is has to be one of the best. The story is really good. The characters, I love the characters, especially our main character here, Zalfan. Easily one of the best comic main characters in my opinion. Um, I've read hundreds of manhwas and manhwas and whatnot, and not as many mangas, but just this main character is personally probably my favorite. Um, now Demonic Emperor, like as I said, like if you've read like a bunch of Chinese cultivation, like martial art stories, you kind of get the gist of how a lot of them are gonna go. The MC reincarnates, and he starts face slapping a bunch of young masters of powerful families in all these different cities, and after over time, it's like you know what you're gonna get, right? However, this is done so well in the aspect of yes, he does like kind of face slap people, um, but just like the world building in general, where he starts out as like a steward of an basically unknown declining family that just is on nobody's radar, but then just over the course of making the family stronger himself, getting stronger himself, and just building up everything around him to make the family that nobody like really heard about into like just one of the strongest, if not the strongest. Well, I guess it is the strongest in the empire, just not in the entire like overall world. Um, but easily has to be one of my favorite main characters of all time. Um, I do see a lot of criticism about him in the aspect of that in the later chapters that are out now. I think there's up to like 750-ish. I'm only caught up to like 720 or 730 where they're at like competition of like the demon scheming sect and other demonic sects, and so I'm not too caught up unlike many of the recent chapters, but there are a lot of people who like get mad that he simps for the female lead, which I mean, if you look at her, can you blame him? Like I'm just gonna end that there. Anyhow, the story, has this typical thing where it has the different cultivation realms, that can get pretty confusing if you're not paying too much attention to it. Um, and what the main drawback I have to say about this one is the story is great, the art is great, the characters, even like the side characters when the main character isn't even on screen, like it's still like you're still into the story, and like just because of how all the characters are entwined and how the story and the world building and everything just like collectively comes together. It's just one of the best that I've read in my opinion. Um, what was I gonna say next? But oh, this video is getting to about 5 minutes. Like I said, I didn't want to say it too long. But overall, like I said, the art's good, the story's really good, the characters amazing. The worst thing about this manhwa and the biggest downside to it is that the translation gets a little iffy. There's not really a really good translation. Like, yes, from like I think there's an official English translation um for this comic that has about 300-ish chapters. Like I said earlier, we're up to like 750 or something like that. And like Reaper scans has like good ones up until like the 400 or 500-ish, I think, like 3 to 4 somewhere around there. But basically the translations like right now are like Thunder scans, and I forgot what the other one is, but the other one that is what I would recommend reading on is not any official, not Reaper scans, not Thunder scans. It's just whatever the like. It's like Manhua something. That translation will carry you from the very first chapter up until now and probably future chapters. So I would recommend that translation for consistency's sake. But the translation isn't the greatest sometimes, and that's probably the only bad thing I can say about this. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to get on here and just the whole dynamic of this channel and where it's going is just me getting on here and talking about the comics that I love or the comics that I read, and my opinions on them, because I really love reading and I spend a lot of my free time just reading comics. It's one of probably my biggest hobby, and I want to share that with other people who also just enjoy reading comics, and we can talk and share our excitement together, and foster a community of people who love comics as much as I do. Anyways, but that's gonna be it for this one. I do have other videos that I plan to record and release and whatnot of other stories. Some will probably be like this, where I just give like a brief description and like how my opinion of it. Others will be probably a little more in depth of like actual stories to give people an idea of what they are. The only reason I didn't go too deep in the story on this one is because if you've if you've read Chinese cultivation manhwas before, then like there's like no way you haven't at least heard of this one and at least heard of some kind of way the main character acts. So, but I would definitely recommend it. I'd give it like a 9 out of 10 when it comes to a rating. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.